The trilogy between Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway is set to headline UFC 318 later this month, with the BMF title on the line. Reflecting on his early career, Dustin said that he never imagined that he, Max, and Conor McGregor would go on to become some of the UFC's biggest stars. He first faced Holloway in 2012, winning by first-round submission. He then fought McGregor in 2014, where he suffered a first-round TKO loss.
When you first faced Max and Conor, was there ever a time you could have convinced yourself, like, yeah, we'd be three of the biggest stars the UFC's ever seen?
No. And even when Conor beat me, of course I watched his rise. He was on fire coming in, knocking people out. And even after he beat me, I was like, I don't think he beat me. And I was like, I don't think this guy is who he says he is. And then he went on to do the things he's done. And I could have, and on the Max side, I could have never, after me armbarring and triangle and Max when he was a young kid, to go on to win championships and be around this long and hold all these records, no clue.
It's kind of amazing, honestly, what you guys have accomplished.
Yeah, we've been around a long time.
Dustin also recently gave his take on the potential fight between welterweight champion Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev. Speaking to MMA Junkie, Dustin said, "I think we'll find out in the first or second round how much trouble Islam has getting JDM down. I think if he gets those takedowns, he's going to get the win. If Jack can stop those takedowns, he does have good takedown defense. I think the boxing and the size could wear on Islam and give him some problems. But Islam's striking is awkward and different. You have to worry so much about the takedown. You can't plant your feet and throw off those number combinations and really rip and sit on your punches, because he's going to change levels. So it changes the way you fight. For me, it did. I'm speaking from experience. We'll see how Jack approaches and how Jack executes out there. But if you're worried about takedowns, your shots are different. You're not sitting on everything and standing in front of the guy. You're trying to move and be light on your feet. I think the first 2 rounds will tell us how the fight is going to go." Mauricio Ruffy wants to fight Ilia Topuria to avenge Charles Oliveira. Ruffy said, "Brazil has given me a mission. Charles's fans have given me a mission, and as a Charles fan myself, Topuria can't wait. 1 or 2 fights, as I've said before, but whoever holds the belt becomes my target. So Topuria, I've already written it down for you there. Enjoy your time, celebrate your moment. After 1 or 2 fights, we'll meet in the octagon." Belal Muhammad is dead serious when he says that he made Kamaru Usman cry on an unaired episode of the Pound for Pound podcast. He claims Usman literally had tears coming out of his eyes. In an interview with Home of Fight, Belal said, "I was on his podcast, made him cry, then threw some blows, then all of a sudden, I don't know, it got deleted from the cloud and it's gone. It's missing. Who knows? Maybe if we get this fight, they'll use it for promotion, like the Khabib-Conor bus incident. Usman cried, tears coming out of his eyes. If you want to see it, maybe that's why he's trying to edit it out, find some AI to do something different with it. The guy's ego is so big. When you talk to the guy and tell him, and he realizes he's not where he was, or where he used to be, or who he thinks he is, I don't think he can deal with that, physically or mentally. When you think of that division, the biggest names, we're both 2 of the biggest names in the division, especially right now. It makes complete sense with the back and forth, the history, their hidden podcast, all that stuff. He would get dominated. There's levels. I've been watching him for so long, wanting to fight him for so long, because I know I match up very well with him. He made it look easy against Buckley, but you're not going to take me down. You're not going to outstrike me. You're not going to out-cardio me. That's why I see him trying to avoid the fight, looking for an easier matchup, calling 185 title fights and random stuff like that. This guy's delusional. At UFC 317, Gregory Rodriguez brutally KO'd Jack Hermansson. After the fight, Robocop faced some backlash for landing a hammer fist while Hermansson was already clearly unconscious. Paul Felder came to his defense, explaining that in the heat of the moment, it's a split-second reaction, and fighters are just trying to make sure their opponent stays down.
To see Jack get put down that bad was scary, but what a comeback, man, for Rodriguez to get back into the win column with that. I've been there and I've done that to guys. Was it necessary? Absolutely not. You're in there fighting, man. Like when people get on these guys, I'm like, it's so
super necessary.
Your mind is in such a different place. You know what I mean, Michael. It's hard to when you're just like, stay the down. That's all you're thinking in your head. I don't want to give you any second of a chance to wake back up.
I've never slept anyone in the UFC.
I've stopped lots of people, but I've never cracked them, slept them, and then gone on. One more.
Yeah, I did exactly that too. The only person I've ever slept was Castillo with the back fist, and he was like aboard. And I ran up and hammer fist him right in the face, because that was the biggest win of my career at that point. We were at the MGM. I remember thinking when I saw it, look back, and he was out like on the ground, it's a split-second reaction. And I remember thinking, oh, no, you're not going to, people don't realize, like, he doesn't look as dead to me when I'm in there fist fighting the guy. When he's down, I'm like, I'm going to make sure you're down. So I got a lot of for that one back in the day.
Joe Pyfer thinks it's ridiculous that he's not ranked in the middleweight division. Pyfer just recently scored a decision win over Kelvin Gastelum and feels as though he should be in the top 15. In an interview with MMA Junkie, Pyfer said, somebody in the top 15 is what I want next. I don't have anybody specific. There's a lot of fights booked right now in the top 15, so I've got to wait to see how it plays out. It's obviously got to make sense as far as location of where I'm fighting, but I would like to fight September, October. There's many people, but I'm not going to voice it because UFC doesn't care what I want. The UFC offers you a fight, and usually you've got to take it type of deal. So in a perfect world, if I was allowed to fight who I want, I'd be much higher ranked. I think it's a little bit wild that I'm 5-1 and I'm not in the top 15. I just beat a legend who got inducted into the Hall of Fame for his fight with Israel Adesanya, but then you've got guys who are 3-2 that are top 15 or whatever Abus Magomedov is. I think that's ridiculous, so it is what it is. Arman Tsarukyan explains why he believes Ilia Topuria is an easier fight for him than Charles Oliveira. Arman just recently fought Charles last April and won via split decision.
I'm gonna strike him, I'm gonna kick him. I watched his first fight and he was wrestling a little bit. He got tired so much. And he never fought his wrestlers like me. Bruce Mitchell, or what's his name? Bruce
Mitchell.
Bryce Mitchell, he's the worst fighter in 145. He took him down and like hold him from the crazy position. I can tell he's not high level. I mean, it's not WWE. I can't wait to show like everybody.
You said Bryce Mitchell's the worst fighter at 145.
I mean, did you watch his fights?
I did. I've watched his fights.
His kicks, like he think he's kicking the ball. I think.
Like soccer?
Like soccer, yeah.
You're so crazy, Arman. You're crazy.
I'll send Topuria back to top 15 pound for pound. For me, it's easier to fight Topuria than Oliveira. And then you can like just go like 1,000 times to take him down because he's not gonna try to choke you or something, you know?
Tom Aspinall chooses his favorite knockout in UFC history.
My favorite knockout in the entire UFC would be, I think, Yair Rodriguez versus Korean Zombie. I've never seen it before or since, so I really like that one.
Ilia Topuria sat down with TMZ Sports this week and discussed the possibility of defending his lightweight title against Paddy Pimblett. He says Paddy will not make it past one round. Topuria said, all the fans around the world, I think they want to see that fight. But at the same time, I have to be honest. I think it's one of the easiest fights that I could have in the lightweight division because I can do with him whatever I want in reality. It's a very exciting fight for the fans, but I'm going to enjoy a lot the whole process. At the same time where I'm going to be able to shine once again. I could choose the way I want to finish him. He's not going to stay there for more than one round with me, but I don't know. Maybe it's going to be cool to submit him on the ground with a triangle choke from the mount, something like that. And as I told him, put my balls on his forehead. Daniel Cormier has been receiving some backlash this week over comments he made about Ilia Topuria. DC thought Ilia's family was rich like Arman Tsarukyan's. He had this to say on Good Guy, Bad Guy.
So when I talked to Ilia, I was talking to him about his $2 million gym that he has in his house, and I go, well, man, now you might have money now after these 2 wins, but before I'm like, how do you have so much money? Come to find out, Ilia got family money. Ilia's rich. Hey, Ilia's got family money. And then Tsarukyan, I saw Tsarukyan just housing $1,000 a bite of caviar. He's just housing like caviar. Like, Arman's like rich. Could you imagine 2 rich dudes fighting for a UFC title? Like 2 rich dudes that didn't get their money in fighting would be the craziest thing because rich dudes don't fight.
Many people were quick to correct DC. This clip started making the rounds on social media of when Ilia Topuria did an interview with Ariel Helwani a few years back. He said he was working 4 jobs at once.
time, and I was working because I had to pay all the competitions. I was working in 4 works. I had 4 works. I was working because I had to pay all the competitions because it wasn't free.
What were the jobs? The 4 jobs? One was a cashier, right? At Stradivarius. Stradivarius?
Yeah. It's a story of clothes story. Clothes story.
Oh, okay.
And I was doing grappling classes in another gym. I was working in La Playa, on the beach. On the beach, yeah. And I was working on securities on the weekends.
DC reposted that clip on X. It says DC is an actual weirdo for randomly spreading misinformation. Ilia literally worked 4 jobs. DC said, damn, I was wrong. I think Chael told me this, and I should know better than to listen to Chael. He got me again.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos.
Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one says, get ready for new mythical fighter. In shape Jamal. The second one's from Bertle McGirdle. It says Jamal Hill needs to stop having cereal for dinner. And the final one's from Hoorag Durag 3704. It says Jamal, I'm not on my own level, Hill.
Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.